Are we on? Is it spinning?
It is spinning.
Ooh, all right. So it's the Sonic 3 trailer, finally, after only 3 minutes worth of talking about it for last week's episode. Thanks, Scott. So, the Sonic 3 trailer, Elgato's new tech, and a bunch of other new stuff coming out, and whatever the hell else we can think of.
Which is going to be a lot.
Pretty much. All that and more on this week's episode of the Nerd Archive podcast. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Episode of the Nerd Archive podcast. I love.
Yeah, but who the hell cares about wildlife anyway?
Sorry, guys. Today's my first day doing this.
New house, who dis?
Yeah. So before we get started, I just want to I want to tell people this. Pulling back the curtain. I normally try to do the thumbnails for the videos before we get started, but I told Justin to hey, introduce the episode. I'm going to do the logo, and I switched browsers to get ideas for the thumbnail. And then if y'all notice my face right before we switched the B-roll,
I obviously didn't give you enough time.
Yeah, I was like, snap. So that's it. That's it, guys. Not prepared.
Hey, it happens, lazy as shit.
Yeah.
But,
oh, well.
What can you do?
Nothing.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit
Subscribe.
that button there, man. Right down there.
Subscribe, motherfucker.
Absolutely. You know what they say? Click all the things.
They do say that.
Yeah.
They do.
A little bit earlier in the episode than we usually say it, but, it still applies. Hit that big red subscribe button. Join our community. We have all sorts of other good stuff, too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And with that being said, welcome everybody to the Nerd Archive podcast. We've got another interesting show for you this week. As always, Justin here alongside Lewis, Lola, and Yadi. We're gonna the main part of our episode, which we were supposed to talk about last week. Once again, thanks, Scott. But hey, you know what? I'm not actually blaming him for completely derailing our episode because it was still an incredible conversation. So thank you genuinely for that awesome freaking episode last week, Scott. So
No, fuck him.
No, this is Scott we're talking about, not Ryan.
Oh, that part. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, I think his brain stopped working there for a second.
I'm not paying attention.
Clearly,
we started blaming somebody. And I thought immediately it was it was Ryan. Sorry.
If you actually thought it was Ryan, then why didn't you say Ryan?
I don't know.
We can see you scrolling through your glasses.
Yeah, no, the man's brain, I swear.
I'm trying.
Hey, it's all you can do. It's all you can do. So, So has everybody seen the Sonic 3 trailer that came out about a week and a half ago, I think it was?
I have.
Yay.
No,
I've seen a minute 53 out of it.
Awesome. Well, while you guys are finishing that up, we can actually start it off with a couple of other smaller things. So I guess we can start.
No, we're not going to show that here.
Hey. Story of your life, Lewis.
Always. Wait, what are we talking about again?
The incredibly short runtime of the what the fuck is that hero shooter fucking Concord. I wanted to bring that up real quick because that came out and then literally not even a month later, they're shutting the fucking game down and nothing of value was lost.
What the fuck?
Oh, that I saw. Okay, so I turned on my PlayStation 5 for from a week of not moving and stuff,
Mm.
and I see this there, like this game Conquer, and I asked my son, like, what is that game? Did you download it? I don't know if I did or he did. I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's there. There's nothing there. Like it's just the logo of the game, and that was it. I was like, the heck is this? I don't remember at all if I did.
Oh yeah. It's a what the fuck is that other game? Yeah,
that game.
my brain is trying to
Valorant?
Yes, there's also that other one that kind of preceded it, Overwatch.
Overwatch. Okay.
Yeah, so basically it's like an Overwatch / Valorant ripoff that was in development hell for a while that nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and there's been a lot of just shit being thrown around, more controversy, and that's about all I'm going to say about that. But it's just like, it did not last long. Nobody played it, and they decided to just cut their losses and kill the game, and that was it. So pretty much everybody that has bought it, especially those that bought like physical copies, congratulations, you got how much that cost you. You got a nice little drink coaster. So congrats, folks.
4% of users liked it.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
terrible.
much. Pretty much. It's I honestly cannot say that I'm surprised based on how that game looked. And I'm just like, how many years did you spend and how much money did you spend putting this game together that nobody wanted and nobody played? And that on the opposite token, you've got a game like Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
I see
That,
a lot of people like that one.
oh my God, so many people have been playing that game. The concurrent player base has broken all kinds of records on Steam, all the while video games media outlets have just been dogging this game left and right. And it's still going along like a goddamn freight train. It's ridiculous. I'm actually considering getting that game down the road, but
it came out of nowhere.
yes, it's
like we knew it was coming out, but how good it is like, wait,
oh yeah,
why?
It's unfortunately right now, I think there's kind of a downfall of live service games.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody had been trying to copy the success of like Fortnite and what have you, and not every live service game like that is going to be a success.
Right.
Like Call of Duty is starting to feel that pressure now with Warzone, because I don't think they have nearly as many players as they did at their apex. And that's the thing. The Warzone 1 was really good. I enjoyed that. Warzone 2 I kind of enjoyed, but I didn't play that for too long. And then you had, oh my God, freaking Helldivers 2, which started off so strong, but their development direction with just like nerfing everything under the sun with every update just kind of turned a lot of players off. And so that game has basically just started to fall into obscurity as well. And so a lot more people are gravitating, I think, back towards a lot of story-driven single-player games and things like that. That's why you have games like Black Myth Wukong. It's a big part of why Baldur's Gate 3 has succeeded as well as it has. Much to the chagrin of a lot of other people, between journalists and critics, and what have you. But But yeah, that honestly, that I think was a record for like the shortest run of any game I have ever seen.
Which is funny because it normally their short runs are when they barely make it out. Like they're not even good on the when they come out, even though they had a lot of like exposure and a lot of marketing, and then all of a sudden you got this game that you think is going to be good, and it's short lived the first day.
Mhm.
But then when you have a game that and I'm going with what you guys have said because I never played Helldivers, but I hear a lot of people saying that it was like amazing when it came out, but then people stopped talking about it.
Yeah, you kind of lose interest. It's just repetitive. Unless you have a crew of people that will jump in and just do the work when you don't have that consistency, you just lose you just lose the wanting to play. Like I don't.
The drive.
Yeah,
I think, well, like I said, a lot of it I think had to do with what the development team had been doing with just nerfing certain weapons. Like people would figure out a combination or like a setup that would work, and then like the next update, all of a sudden that setup would be broken because they decided to nerf a bunch of weapons, a bunch of like whatever else they decided to just lower the damage and whatnot of, and then they would have to go back and figure something else out, and then they would do it all over again, and then the cycle continues, and I guess people just got tired of it, and so they just stopped playing. And then I think what their first big controversy I think was the whole PSN account requirement, and then killing the game in like 170 plus countries that by law couldn't have any kind of PlayStation account or what have you, because it just didn't work out that way. And so
they shot themselves in the foot
pretty much. And they didn't recover from that. And then the whole nerfing thing with every update just kind of kept them going in a bit of a downward spiral. And so we are where we are now. And like the issue that live service games face, I think, is they focus, they're reliant entirely on their customer base to buy skins and battle passes and whatnot. And so it's like, yeah, the base game is free to play, but then they're hoping that everybody buys all this stuff that they're putting out, and not everybody's going to do that. And so those games inevitably struggle to break even, and that goalpost gets moved further and further back because they're continually having to work on these games and put out more and more and more and more content.
Right.
And so that drives that development cost up further and further and further. And that's where I think a lot of the story-based, like larger single-player games and that stuff actually have a bigger advantage, because once you've made the game, you're done, and then maybe like a year or so, like developing patches to fix bugs and things like that. And then beyond that, it is what it is, because then when everybody buys the game, you've made your money, and there's a lower path to actually being profitable in that respect. And that's a big part of also why we're seeing a lot of these big layoffs with a lot of these companies, because they're a lot of them are chasing the live service thing, especially since like Fortnite and other ones have succeeded, and they're just falling short of the mark.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has matched Fortnite when it comes to that, because their game being free, having the microtransactions, but they always keep updating, always keep changing, attracting new people, bringing old players back. That's what's made them succeed, because Apex is free. I haven't touched that game in over a year.
I've never played it.
the only 2 games that I played that were free were Warzone and Fortnite.
Mm.
What's the other one that was free recently? There was the you remember that? Not Portal. Portal was another one that I played the beta and that was it.
Yeah.
Right here.
It was Portal meets Halo. What the hell was that game called?
Yeah, I played it for a while, and
Yeah, you and I think teamed up on it once or twice, and after a
Splitgate.
while, it was just
Splitgate.
Splitgate.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
actually good, but then I don't know.
It just you
It
get
didn't
bored of it.
last. Yeah, it
Because
didn't last. It was
they don't have that story. They don't keep creating things, which is what Fortnite keeps doing. And now they're matching with Disney, which makes them stay where they're at and keep
Oh, yeah.
increasing their income.
Oh
The
yeah.
other one that I played recently was X Defiant. I haven't touched that game in months, and it was free to play as well. And you pay for a battle pass. I haven't touched it in a while. And then the other one I forgot about. Where is it? Where is it here? Just had it. I guess a game. There's another multiplayer game like Splitgate, like X Defiant. Jeez, where the thing is. Anyways, they're just having. There's no interest for me to play anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing though. It's like too many people are trying to get into the whole live service thing, and it's not working out.
The finals.
The finals. Yes. I did play a little bit of that, and I'm just like, this seems like it's kind of cool, but it was a new take on. Well, that was a new take on like the, what the hell is it? Not battle arena shooters.
Yeah.
Basically like
Like
Overwatch.
4 teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 teams. 3 teams.
And it was basically like Overwatch was trying to recapture the arena shooters, which had fallen to the wayside because people were getting tired of those. And then, then came, what the hell was it? PUBG, which started the battle royale craze. And that's what Fortnite originally capitalized on. But then they just took it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
And then what got me interested was the no build. Even then it wasn't right away,
Right.
So
Yeah, they have to bring like skins for you to get. Like what brought us together to the game was when they brought Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And now you guys missed on Deadpool and Wolverine. I think they still in the shop, but Deadpool and Wolverine are pretty cool skins too. Oh, and they have Marvels now. I don't know if you guys have played recently. I'm pretty sure you haven't. But
No.
if you are, they have like the my God, I'm forgetting the name. It's not Iron Man. Who is Iron Man's buddy?
War Machine?
War Machine. They have
Yeah,
War
yeah.
Machine skin in the battle pass, and they have like few. They have Shuri with her Black Panther like suit, and Doom as well, which I need to play so I can unlock it. Dr. Doom is in there. He's the big villain in this series, and you can have his powers on the game if you haven't played it.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like I'm not as big on the battle royales as a lot of people, as a lot of others are, and that's fine. It's like it's not obviously it's not for everyone. I'm not saying it's not for me. I just don't play it all that often, so I don't really make a big deal out of missing out on some of the skins. Like if they wind up like back on the shop and I happen to see it and I'm like, hey, okay, maybe if I have an extra few bucks I want to, waste on, things like that, hey, that's cool. But generally I don't.
Them. I like to play so I can unlock them. They have different quests that you do, which is what makes it fun because not only it's not just about winning. Like if you want to collect crowns there, you can, but it's not always about winning. It's about doing the quest and challenges so you can keep getting points and whatnot. And that's what makes it more entertaining than just going in, diving in, and killing people, which is still fun. But then again, the challenges and quests are a big plus.
I got you there. I think based on what we've seen, And I had to laugh because I saw a tweet from RGT85 where he said, I gotta pull it up real quick, but it was ridiculous. Where is it? Yeah, this is literally where I got some of what I got from. He said, quote, "No one wanted Concord, no one bought Concord. Concord is now dead. Welcome to this consumer-driven industry. We call the shots, not you." And honestly, my opinion, he's absolutely right.
That was powerful.
Because that's the thing though. Some folks don't like and especially some developers, they don't seem to realize that you're in the position that you're in and you're making the money you're making because we buy what you put out. And if we don't like what you're doing, we're going to vote with our wallets and we're not going to buy your stuff. And then you're going to wind up losing money. And then you're going to see what we're seeing now in terms of the layoffs and things like that, because they're not making the kind of money that they should be making. And I think honestly, what we're going to start seeing is some of these companies are going to start outside of Epic and Fortnite, because they're still making money like hand over fist. They're not gonna you'll never see them move away from Fortnite as long as it's making a tidy profit for them. It's I don't see Fortnite dying anytime soon, but the large majority of companies I think are gonna start moving away from these live service games because they just can't make money on them.
It costs more money to keep them running than what they're making.
Pretty much.
So, before we move on to Sonic, Lola, you said that you and Trey are doing something with movies.
Yeah. Basically any movie that you watch, specifically like a scary sci-fi movie that has any plot holes, I invite everybody to go and look for their subreddit. It will be hilarious. For example, we watch A Quiet Place 2, and then we get into a very passionate discussion about one of the monsters jumping on a boat, and then if that said monster drove the boat or just drifted off to a specific island. And then we looked for the subreddit, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I took screenshots because I had to. Pro tip: if you go see this in theaters, do not order chips and guac. Might as well be setting off a firecracker trying to chomp out a bite. Again, the movie was A Quiet Place where everything is quiet.
Right.
And nothing. You'll just find really, really like interesting comments from people just absolutely shredding the movie with funny comebacks.
That's I not on Reddit, but I have searched for stuff like that, and it's hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
you'll see them on Twitter too.
Yeah.
The analytical brain.
Yeah. And people are creative.
They really are.
Like, you will get lost reading these.
Well, to the point where it was a very passionate discussion. Didn't get anywhere because we were laughing our asses off at what people were saying in regard to the movie. For example, somebody else said, I don't think the monster saw the other boat being driven and thought, yes, I fancy myself a seaman, both because it doesn't have eyes and that'd be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So again, I invite everybody to go look for subreddits about, movies, specifically those that are like have a lot of plot holes and shit that just makes no sense, because you'll find super analytical people just absolutely ripping it to shreds in the funniest way possible.
Yeah, some people don't have anything to do, and
Yeah.
and you're like, oh snap.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh at some people trying to be serious about some of the craziest shit that you see in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to explain it as hard as they can, and you're sitting here reading this like you like okay, this is the most hilarious thing ever.
Yeah.
And yet they're trying to be serious. It's like, take it serious, damn it. Why?
Why? It makes no fucking sense.
You're being serious enough for everybody. I'm just sitting here laughing with a bucket of popcorn, watching you make a fool of yourself.
That's also true. I do love looking at people's like super serious responses, and it's like, wow, what do you do for a living?
Just scouting the internet for anything that they can just, demolish or.
Yeah.
I don't know what people get so serious for certain. We kind of touched on that a few weeks ago, but
a
still,
few weeks ago.
it's chill out,
Have a good time. If you like it, fantastic. If you didn't, that's okay too. It just wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Everybody has an opinion.
I got you there. And I'll have a few words to say on that at the end of this episode. Not in the way you think, so don't worry.
Passionate ones.
In a way, I suppose, but it's let's say it's an acknowledgement. Based on how it went a couple of weeks ago, and just we'll leave it at that for now, and I'll deal with that. But yeah, so that's actually an interesting thing. That's actually an interesting thing to think about, like people like just being like over analytical on things, like, and they're trying to take it seriously, but you look at it and just like it triggers that thing in your brain where it's just like you just have to laugh because it's like funny as shit. Like they're trying to be serious and you just find humor in it, and it's like how can you laugh at this? I'm trying to do this and this, and I'm just like you can't help what you find humor in.
Yeah.
Right? I find humor in a lot of different things, but I mean, obviously there's some things that are just impossible to fucking find humor in, but still, like you listen to these folks that are trying to go in depth and trying to, and like you said, fill these plot holes, with their own theories and whatnot. And I'm just like, it's ridiculous. And yeah, like you said, it gets funny and you can't help but laugh.
Funny. Yeah. And you can see too who got way too passionate because Reddit has removed the comments.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm not. There are a lot of times where I'm just not a big fan of Reddit because of what it just winds up devolving into, and it's just, yeah.
So if you want a free source of entertainment, whether it's just to see how ridiculous people fight, or if you want to see how people fill these plot holes, or just see like people think the same way that you do, subreddits for movies.
Reddit.com/r/wherever the hell you want to go.
Yeah, pretty much. And just be ready. Reddit is like YouTube. You will search one thing, and then 4 hours later, you are in a completely different subject.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing videos of things that you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like in your feed and whatnot.
What?
It's in
your feed, not in your feed. I got you, Yadi. I got you.
Feed. I was like,
I did not say feet.
I was like,
there's a subreddit for that too.
Yeah, shit. Are you kidding me? There is literally a subreddit for everything. It is ridiculous how much crap you can find on Reddit. We're not gonna go in depth on that. We'll leave you to go down that rabbit hole, viewers. So
yeah, no.
Let's just say anything that you can think of, Reddit probably has a subreddit for it. 99% of the time. Just like Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it, no exceptions.
Like Sonic.
Nice segue. Speaking of Sonic, Sega did a thing. And whoever else is distributing this film, I forget.
Paramount?
Yes. Yes. So about a week and a half ago, so 10 days, I think, or so, roughly. I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody in the comments or the chat will correct me, but I don't really care. It's about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. The new trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I am actually quite excited. And at this point, here's an interesting tidbit. I'm sure I know Lewis knows about this. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but the Sonic 3 comes out still on the same day as the Mufasa the Lion King movie.
Yeah. Which is funny because I will go see Sonic instead.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
I think that if they would have given us the Mufasa movie animated, it would be a completely different topic.
Could be.
But and that is being said by someone that has not seen Sonic 1 or 2.
You got to correct that, man.
You haven't?
It's most definitely worthwhile. The only bit of the live action Sonic, semi live action Sonic stuff that I have
live
not seen
CGI
yet.
action.
Yeah, pretty much. But the only part of that franchise I haven't seen is the Knuckles series.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking of that too. I think it's a Paramount Plus.
Of course, and that explains it because I don't have that. And yeah, I don't need it. So I'll figure out some other way to watch it, and there you go.
So, for you to watch this movie, obviously, we suggest that you watch the first and second movie, because obviously I'm going to. However, you don't need to play any other games to know exactly what's happening, except for Sonic Adventures 2, which you would think it's Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that you have to watch or you have to play, but it's actually Sonic Adventures 2.
Yep.
That's the game. If you want to play a game to know exactly what's happening in the movie, because this movie is going to be based off one of the video games, and it's going to be that one. Just letting everyone know.
Oh yeah. And there's it takes Sonic 3 looks like it takes a lot from the 2 Sonic Adventure games, especially Sonic Adventure 2.
Right.
I love those 2 games. Playing them now, I think it would be a little bit more frustrating than anything else because the controls, because I had the same complaints when I went to replay Super Mario 64. The controls were just like janky as hell. And it's like, how did we cope with this shit when we were younger, you know? But that's the thing though, like the Sonic Adventure games, their controls aren't as bad as Mario 64. And so,
we didn't know any better, you know?
We did not.
True enough. Well, plus game development at the time, you work with the technology you have and you just kind of go with it, you know? And
that's a word it explains everything. The development. We develop the motor skills to do it. It doesn't matter if it's weird. To us, it's not weird. Now it is because we got this ergonomic shit and like better for your hands and grip and whatever. Oh, yeah. But back in the day, it's like we want to make the controller look different. Let's make it. And here comes Nintendo 64.
Okay. Well, between the N64 controller and then you had the Dreamcast controller, which all in all wasn't a terrible controller.
It's almost like the Xbox controller, the first one.
Oh, dude, I hated the original Xbox controller. Like the very first.
Yeah, which it looks just like the Dreamcast controller.
But the Dreamcast controller had significantly less buttons.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as big and it was lighter until you started adding the memory cards and the VMU and all that stuff. I actually had all that stuff, the visual memory units that you could link together And, depending on the games that you had, you could do like play little mini games with each other. And that was actually cool. I think that was like some like ahead of their time things. And, it's a shame that Sega went the direction that they did, with Dreamcast being their final like actual console and things like that. But, that's another discussion for another episode. We won't get too deep into this because it's not what this is about.
No, not at all.
But it's weird though, because how like even still, despite how controllers have evolved, I think most gamers, especially ones that have played with a lot of Nintendo controllers, still regard the GameCube controller as one of, if not the best controller that they've ever played. And I, to a point, kind of agree, but
Why is it that I can't picture it?
The GameCube controller?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Google.
That's what I'm doing.
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google.
Google is your friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't play much on the GameCube. I had moved on to PlayStation at that point.
Yeah, I didn't have it. My nephew did, and I did play a lot with him when I visited.
Lola had it. That's the only with Luigi's Mansion.
Fun fact: I never actually played Luigi's Mansion because I was scaredy cat. I did start and finish Bratz Rock Angels, though.
You did. I remember.
Yes, I did.
Every time I played Luigi's Mansion, I had to take Bratz game out.
I actually didn't play Luigi's Mansion either. I mean, not for the same reasons, but it's just because, like,
no, you can accept that you were scared too.
Please,
I see.
nah. That's well, to me,
it was a scary game.
To me, Luigi games just weren't really all that interesting to me. And so, like, every Luigi game that we'd ever gotten from like the Super Nintendo, from like Mario is Missing or some dumb shit like that, I never bothered playing because it was just like, okay, give it a shot. This is dumb. And then like Luigi's Mansion being a launch game on the GameCube, I'm just like, I'm gonna pass on this because they're better games that have come out on launch, for the system. So I'm just gonna get those.
Right.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that I liked the GameCube controller, but I honestly preferred the Wii U Pro controller to the other ones, and then by extension the Switch Pro controller, which I currently have. And so that, like, those and like the similar ones, so like the current Xbox controller, which I also have, like,
right,
those are for me better because they're like a lot more comfortable. They're what I'm used to, and pretty much that. But not to say that the GameCube wasn't a bad controller. And once again, we're getting off track.
Yeah. So let's reel it in.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the trailer? And let them two talk about it, because I know that we talked about it last week. Or
for
not,
about 3 minutes.
Yeah, but right. So, but Lola just watched it,
as did Yadi. So there's
he watched it a second time, right?
I watched it when it came out. Yeah, I watched it when it came out, and then
you watched it again right before the episode, so it's fresh in your brain. So let's get your input. Kind of.
Well, I watched it when we started, so I didn't get a chance to listen to it. But I liked how it started. That they're basically, he's part of the Avengers now. He's part of the elite group that he's called by the government to fight crime. Another one of his people, Project Shadow. But he seems a bit overpowered. I understand that Shadow is typically faster than Sonic because of whatever hoverboard / rollerblades. I don't know what he has, like propellers, or I don't know what the heck he has because I never got to that in the games or even in the cartoons and whatnot. But
Those rocket skates.
yeah, whatever it is, man. But
Mm.
the way that he just flips or breaks, I don't know if he breaks Knuckles' hand, but the way that he's like, get over here, and
Yep.
Mortal Kombat style, and disappears like scorpions, and then just I don't know. It was kind of weird, but it looks cool. Not what I expected from Shadow. Does he like teletransport, or he's just that fast? I don't know. I gotta see the movie.
That's actually a teleportation technique, which is from the second Sonic Adventure game called Chaos Control. And it's weird that he's able to do that just on his own, because in the game, he can only do that if he's holding a Chaos Emerald.
Oh, maybe he has it hidden.
Right. They haven't shown. They don't want to show us too many things.
Well, yeah, there's
he learned instant transmission.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because there's a lot of there's some different things that I also wanted to go into detail about, that we can where it looks like certain things were edited out as like a potential surprise to those who go and watch the movie. And so it's like when you look at certain scenes, like you can tell, like it looks like they left some things out in this edit that they're going to have in the movie. And it makes you wonder, it's like, okay, what is this going to be? Because you're taking a lot from especially Sonic Adventure 2. So curious.
Right. Lola, what do you think?
I like the fact that Jim Carrey is playing two characters, kind of like a series of unfortunate events. Very excited about that.
He's great at it.
He really is. Playing crazy and then playing crazier really suits him.
Fun fact about his second character. That's his grandfather, right?
Yep.
That's not a fun fact. The fun fact is that he's supposed to be dead.
Yep.
Because we don't even see him in the games. We only see him as flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been dead right after he started Project Shadow, but he never finished it. However, Maria is in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Lola, I just want you to be prepared to what's going to happen to Maria in the movie.
Is she gonna get gutted or something?
Spoiler alert for those that don't. Wait. You've been warned. Do you want to know?
Yeah, sure.
She dies. In the game. And in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
She is Shadow's best friend. She is Robotnik's cousin. And she gets killed off screen, because they show someone pointing at her with a gun, and then as soon as he shoots, everything goes black.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time we see, they're talking about, oh, she's dead. Obviously, they're not going to put that. They're not going to kill. They're not going to kill somebody on screen in a kids show.
Yeah.
That's why Dragon Ball is not for kids.
That's fine. I mean, I feel like I've seen many a movie, many a show with.
Just don't get attached, is what I'm saying.
I've seen Game of Thrones, baby. I'm good.
Okay.
Well,
I survived that one.
Yeah.
So let's get the biggest part of this out of the way first and foremost. Keanu Reeves as Shadow.
Yes.
He got more talking in this trailer than in the Wick movie, than John Wick.
Yeah.
So that's
To be honest, the few lines that we got in this trailer makes me think that he might be a better voice actor than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, the John
his
Wick-
problem is his
facial expression.
his facial expressions, which lack of in his movies. It's like I agree with you.
Well, it's weird though, because you see some of the lines, some of his delivery in the John Wick movies, and it's not really the best. But like you can tell, like when he really gets into the delivery of some kind of line or some kind of monologue, especially that monologue he delivered in the first one when he was tied to that chair talking to Vigo. Best part of that entire first movie, period. But like
Agreed.
his vocal delivery, I think, in what we've seen so far in this trailer has been pretty good. Like smooth, like no break from what I've seen in vocal quality and whatnot. So it looked like he did a pretty damn good job in this. And
Right.
so as far as how that's going to translate into the movies or in the movie,
Right.
We'll see. But I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm very, very hopeful.
Yeah. I was gonna ask Lola, what do you expect from this movie? But have you seen the first two?
I saw the second one. I don't
Okay.
know why I saw the second one and not the first one, but I saw the second one. I can't remember much about it, to be completely honest with you.
There was
Okay.
something blue and fast.
Yeah, it
And a
was
red
a
one.
blur.
Mhm.
You just saw him going that way or this way. Never
Yeah.
this way.
A thing with two tails.
Mm, I don't know. I didn't see it. He was going too fast.
Well, the one with two tails isn't fast. He just flies.
Ah.
That part.
Mm.
And what's the character's name? Oh, Tails.
Yep.
Eh.
Yeah, Tails.
I remember liking the movie. I just don't remember the movie.
Well, I mean-
oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
No, I was just kind of switching. I just like the character progress from Robotnik from the first to now.
Oh yeah. His look from the first movie to the second movie, like honestly, I didn't hate the way he looked in the first movie. It was good, but
I like
his-
that they
his
switched
appear-
after.
yes,
Yeah.
his appearance in the second movie was just so much better than it was in the first, because it was truer to the game and how he looked in the game, which I thought was really cool.
And now it's even more.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then his interaction with his grandfather.
Did you notice in the part where he's like changing? He takes the clothing off the guy to make him a new set of clothing and whatnot. When he closes the bathroom, it says occupied. It's his
Uh-huh.
logo, like from the
Yup.
game. I
Yep.
thought that was a nice little. I know they've shown it before, but I thought that was
Oh
that
yeah.
was,
Yeah.
nice little details.
Oh yeah.
Y'all remember the Pokemon the movie with Mewtwo?
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one that scene of Shadow in the back to tank? That's
Is
back
Mewtwo
to
breaking?
Tank. Yep, Mewtwo.
Yeah.
It's Mewtwo breaking out because
Kinda.
it's almost the same scene. It's like he opens his eyes and he's there, and then all of a sudden he's out, and then people are trying to shoot him as
I
he's.
remember that.
And
Scene.
I have a feeling that's when Maria dies.
Oh yeah. We get to see parts of Shadow's backstory. You
Yeah.
can see the pod that he's in cracked, likely after the laboratory was attacked, which we can assume that's probably what happened what happens in the movie. And then a nice detail here as well is that Gerald is seen holding Maria with Shadow, and then we get to see Gerald more clearly later in the trailer.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, how much more are they going to flesh that out? Like you were saying earlier, as far as like that backstory is concerned.
One other Easter egg that I saw was when Shadow is riding the motorcycle and he does the slide. That is an homage to Akira.
Yep.
Not Toriyama, but the movie Akira.
Yep.
It's literally almost frame for frame.
Oh yeah. I actually took notes on this when I watched the trailer, and that's actually one of the things that I wrote down. But yeah.
I was watching this video of them breaking down the trailer, and on 1 minute 9 seconds, they show a building with a number on it, and it's 109. So it's the number 109. It's at 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Interesting.
Yeah. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just the attention to detail that that's going to be like insane.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in one part of the trailer, you can see a giant spaceship rise up from out of the water, and it looks like the spaceship is a stand-in for the space colony Ark from the second game. So, as a giant spaceship has not been established yet in the movies, earlier in the trailer, Sonic and his team are seen going towards it. And something that I almost missed. I actually went back to see this after I watched the trailer. I think a second or a third time. Is what is it? A gun building, which is the military contractors from the second game, is seen on the left side of that shot where the Ark rises. So there's like that the two buildings with the angled roofs, and then the little piece in between them, and then you can see that their logo, the big G logo on that, and that is basically a reference to the gun military group from the second game.
Yep. We also see X-Men Crab Machine in the trailer. Y'all remember? Well, Lola, you haven't played any of the Sonic games, right?
I played them, but again, same thing of like, I didn't pay much attention to it. It was more of a boys thing.
Right. And
like,
I get
I used to play at our neighbor's house in front of us back home. That and Kirby, but again, if you ask me any of the lore, I don't know any of it.
Right. When you're a kid, and especially when it's a different language for us, we for the most part, we just think it's entertaining.
Well, it's like when you ask me about Pokemon, it's like I remember watching some of it. I don't remember, and I remember you having the game, but I don't remember being able to do anything in it because of the language barrier.
Right. Dr. Eggman was one of the villains in the Sonic games. So you see like these robot crab machines in the games, and we see them briefly in the trailer. One thing that caught my attention, and I noticed immediately, and then I thought that's what it was, and I'm like, nah, it can't be. And then I saw it on the breakdown, is Shadow kicks Knuckles in midair, and it's a direct reference to Vegeta kicking Cell in the Cell Saga. He kicks him like Knuckles is like in midair and Shadow comes from below and kicks him in the stomach, and the shot looks just like the shot from Dragon Ball. So they're going back to like the roots of people's childhood. They're definitely hitting the nostalgia, which it's great, especially in this era.
Something else I want to see is the shot of what appears to be a corrupt ring, which is basically sucking up everything like a black hole.
Okay.
And apparently I haven't seen the series, but from what I'm told, it's a concept seen in the Knuckles show where if two rings are too close to each other, it can cause a similar effect. And so I'm wondering what that's going to be about.
Like Doctor Strange ring?
Well, no,
so,
I mean,
yeah,
like the rings that you collect in the games. Basically, I guess the rings hold a bit more power and a bit more significance in the movies. And
got
so, like, basically, like how Sonic was able to come into the
Travel.
real world,
Mhm.
right? And so, basically, in the Knuckles show, two of them, I guess, were held too close together, and it created this vortex, like a corrupt ring, and then it basically just became like a black hole and was basically just pulling everything into it.
Got it. I guess I missed that in the trailer.
Yeah, it's a short. It's brief, but you should definitely watch the movie sooner than later.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to.
And then Sonic in one scene says, "Hey, no cheat codes." Earlier Sonic games, obviously, as we as older gamers know that Sonic games had cheat codes, but they were more or less developer tools. But then, of course, intrepid young gamers at the time figure out how all that stuff works and use it to inevitably break games.
You know, these cheat codes came out before the internet era.
Mhm.
How the hell did we find out what these cheat codes were? Because they were a known thing. Like now you're like, oh, did you see on TikTok that there's this glitch on this game that you can do, and so you learn that way.
Mhm.
But back in the day,
What I thought.
I
magazines.
was about to say mostly gaming magazines and things like that. And so, like the few people that whose family could afford a subscription to those figured that out, and then like you had some people that would just like spread that information out everywhere, like to all the friends at their school or whatnot, or some people that would just like hold that information, like I've got this like exclusive thing, and I'm only going to tell a couple people, and I'm not telling you, and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's like mainly just like magazines that kind of published a lot of that stuff, or even sometimes like some of the older game developers at the time might have just kind of leaked that out there themselves, and then it spreads from there. But more often than not, I think it was the magazines.
Yeah, because those cheat codes spread like wildfire.
Oh yeah,
that's insane.
The Konami code that was in literally every game they fucking released.
Yeah. So it needless to say, it's like it was fun to. Back in the day, it was cheat codes. Now it's hacking, which is still almost the same thing.
True enough, but there's when it comes to like multiplayer stuff, like Warzone and the different like battle royale things like that, like people like we look down on people that do dumb shit like that. Like if you want to do that in like a single player game, that's That's neither
Entirely
here
up
nor
to
there.
you.
Yeah, that's entirely up to you. And I'm not gonna look down on somebody that uses like a cheat to maybe get past something in like a particularly difficult scene or something like that in a story game, or like if you want to just use something and completely break the fucking game after you've beaten it, which is what I do
Right.
sometimes.
That's different. Like if you
Right.
if you play the game, and you beat it on your own, no cheat codes, no nothing, and then you just want to make it more interesting, so you start putting cheat codes in, or back in the day, Game Shark. Like once I beat
Or
the
Game
Pokemon
Genie.
games, right? Once I beat the Pokemon games, I will go back and see what else I could do with this.
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I can get 90 million Master Balls. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Or can it?
Extra rare candies.
Yeah, let's see how many Pokemon can get to level 100 with these rare candies.
Yeah, right.
Those were definitely different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it's weird though, because it's like you take that team that you maxed out with the rare candies and you link battle with somebody, and then you get your ass kicked, and it's just like, what? And that's when you find out that no, just using that to level up your team really isn't the same thing, because you don't get as big a stat boost as you did if you were to just do things the hard way. But at that time, we weren't the type that played competitively and things like that. So I didn't really care, because I'm like, I don't link battle or even link trade all that often, except for when we needed to get the ones that from the other game, or the ones that you had to trade in order for them to evolve. But
and those games were developed to a point where you're like, for example, Pokemon, you get all your Pokemon to level 100. And like you said, you even if you're playing against like the Elite Four, they're in level 70, you're level 100, but you're still fighting. It's not cakewalk.
now, once you've maxed out your team, whether it's experience or rare candy, the Elite Four, depending on the team you have, is a breeze. It's when you go up against, like, say, Mewtwo at the end of Gen 1, or if you're going up against Red from Gen 2.
Right.
That's when things get difficult.
No, I understand, but when you're like using the rare candy, it shows that all you did was move that level number. You didn't you didn't rack up attack or anything like that. So that's how games were developed back in the day. It's like, you think you're doing something, you think you're hacking the game, but you're not.
Pretty much. And that's the thing though. That's what, like, and that's back then when, like Gen 1, Gen 2, like they were like basic. Now you have like all these different mechanics that you can get into, and different ways to like train, and like EV and IV training and things like that like really dive into like the competitive scene, which I literally do not give a shit about. I'm just like, I want to play the game. If I want to battle somebody, within our group or what have you, we can do that. But like, I don't get into like, I don't deep dive into a lot of that.
Right.
Like, that's just.
There was this dude that he transferred the Pokemon from the old games into newer ones, until he got them into the latest one. And the stats were trash compared to how you build your stats now, because they were just regular stats. You got speed, attack, defense, health, and special attack. That's it. And on special attack in the old games, it was combined with special attack and special defense. But now it's a separate thing, and you can build the way that you want it. And he tried to beat the game with those, and he was getting like swept because he couldn't. He got the best Pokemon that he could get from Gen 1 games, not Gen 1, like not just Gen 1, but the games itself, and the stat didn't translate well. So that it shows how much we have advanced in when it comes to gaming, and we still getting trash games. Like, it makes no sense.
It's rather weird. One other thing, or one or two other things on the Sonic 3 trailer before we move on to our next topic, is some of the things that looks like they kind of edited out or left out for the trailer. Is near the end of the trailer where they are sitting in what looks like the Chow Garden Cafe with the commander. It looks like they left a character out. And then also when you see the giant crab, Dr. Eggman's giant crab, when they're standing there in front of it, on the right side, you can tell that there is a gap there. Like, there should be another character.
Like, there should be 4, not 3.
There should be 4 people standing there. So people are speculating that some people are saying it could be Amy Rose that should be in one or both of those scenes, or Rouge the Bat.
Do you think that we are going to get a team up of the main 3 with Shadow to be a bigger villain?
I think so, based on what we know from Sonic Adventure 2.
Right.
Because they do team up in the end to beat what they call the ultimate life form. Because during Sonic Adventure 2, spoiler alert for those who haven't played it, Shadow basically assumes that he's the ultimate life form created by Gerald and all that, and then come to find out he actually wasn't. And you had this big long neck dinosaur looking thing that was released from the space colony Ark, and they ultimately had to team up, Sonic and Shadow, in order to beat it. So I'm wondering if that's going to come into play here.
It's very possible.
I'd
Yeah, I
like
was
to see
thinking
it.
that too.
I'd like to see it, because that's it's going to be an interesting one to see how they play that out and how they bring I don't even know what they call I don't even remember what they call that enemy in the game, but if they bring him onto the big screen, how they do that, what he looks like.
Right. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Sonic is Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah,
And
I think we touched on it at one point.
Like, obviously Sonic is Goku, because he's able to beat later some villains turning supersonic, and he's golden. You have the Chaos Emeralds, which are 7, and those are the Dragon Balls. You got Knuckles, which is Piccolo, because he was a bad guy that turned good and became his teammate. Shadow is obviously Vegeta, because he's the same species as Sonic, and he's able to turn also Super Shadow.
Yep.
Silver is Trunks, because he comes from the future to change the future. Who else? Tails is Krillin, because he's a psychic that is always there, but always gets his ass kicked.
The only difference is he didn't have to die for Sonic to go supersonic.
True. That would have been way too much. Like,
yeah,
way too much. Do you have anything else on Sonic?
Excited to see the movie, and and if y'all haven't yet, or even if you have, get a refresher, rewatch the movie, or watch the movie if you hadn't.
I'm definitely going to. Definitely.
Yeah, I
I've-
own them too.
I'll
I
find
had
them
to
and watch
buy.
them.
I had to buy them. I think Netflix has the first Sonic.
Okay. I'll definitely go on
Just
Netflix.
put it back up.
Okay.
There you go. I imagine they'll put the second one up at some point, somewhere at least before the third one comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, on that note, since we're done with that, I'm going to give you 5 movie plot holes or 5 movie plot badly explained. Just how I just explained that sentence.
Nerds
Yeah, that
don't
was
words good,
terrible.
folks.
Yeah. I'm going to give you bad 5. Ugh. I'm going to give you 5 badly explained movie plots. There you go. I had to read that. I found this on Pinterest. Yeah. So the first one is a giveaway. A billionaire devotes his fortune to cosplay and beating up the mentally ill.
Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Priest kidnaps child for cult and eventual marriage to politician twice his age.
Star Wars,
Episode 1.
specifically episode 1.
Yeah.
The priest. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oops.
Drug addicted girl takes advantage of mentally challenged boy for 3 decades.
Oh, Forrest Gump.
Yep. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 2 more.
You can't count.
Yeah.
Well, I can. I just didn't. Yeah. Girl with Stockholm syndrome gets bad haircut.
The Stranger Things.
Good guess, but no.
It doesn't sound familiar, but I imagine it will make sense as soon as you fucking say it.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Tangled, Rapunzel.
Oh.
Let me see one more. A guy that's alone in the forest kisses his dead body while 7 other guys watch.
Snow White.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
I got one more, and it's also a giveaway, but it's funny as hell.
Okay.
Talking frog convinced his son to kill his dad.
That's another Star Wars. Specifically The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Oh, this one's funny.
Actually,
Last
no,
one.
Return of the Jedi as well.
Yes. A mystical toad teaches people how to whack each other with neon tubes.
Oh, jeez. Is that Star Trek? Beam me up, Obi-Wan.
That made me uncomfortable. Genuinely.
Oh, this was funny. A lot of people take the ice bucket challenge. Doesn't end well.
Titanic.
Wow.
You know, I say only 5, but these are funny.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, you don't know what that one is? I'm gonna let you guess. You
Go,
try.
I said it.
Yeah. Never let me go, Jack.
Fucking Titanic. Holy shit.
Two women get lost in their warehouse for 3 days while on a quest to make a little girl cry. Inside Out.
Gee.
That's sad.
I know.
Jeez.
Old man forces child into a volcano.
Lord of the Rings.
And the picture is Gandalf holding Frodo, like hugging him, like looking into the abyss.
Oh, jeez.
Hold on. I just read recently. Actually, I think I sent it to the chat. That Lord of the Rings explanation about like how this old man convinces somebody from what was it? When you come to find out that your uncle's trip to Vegas and the whatever he brought back is actually like, you know, fuck, never mind.
Trying to kill your whole family or something
Trying to
like
kill
that.
your family and that you're being chased by like shadow zombies and then you have to go and meet like fucking medieval hosier at a like bistro. It's the plot of Lord of the Rings. It's terrible.
A young man.
Shut up.
A young man quits his job, steals a jacket, and hangs out with a homeless girl and her dog.
Mm.
Force Awakens.
Mm. Makes sense. The dog is a robot.
Yeah. An old man pretends to be bedridden for years until he gets a chance for some free chocolate.
The OG Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Immigrant adoptee. I can't read that. It's like very tiny.
Oh, shit.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Okay. I have a list of 12, but they don't tell me what they are. They just give me the picture. They give me 12 pictures. Okay. And it's like a matching game.
Okay.
Okay.
This is going to go over well.
Yeah. Well, the first one we already said is the ice bucket challenge. Girl has to pretend she's a man to be taken seriously.
I feel like there's a couple.
But specifically, 3.
Mulan.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it is. A love triangle between an 18-year-old girl, a 100-year-old guy, and a dog.
Twilight.
I'm not supposed to talk about it. Fight Club.
That makes sense.
I was thinking of A Quiet Place. Like, I don't know.
Fantastical deception. Fantastical depiction of the best case scenario for a trap queen.
Trap queen?
A trap queen.
I don't know what that is.
I don't even know. It doesn't tell me the name of the movie, so. Moving on. Yeah. Adopted kid's older brother won't let him hold the hammer.
Thor.
Yeah, it's Thor.
Let me see. Pocahontas with blue people. That's a giveaway.
Avatar.
That's Avatar.
Avatar. Impressionable teenage girl from Kansas tries acid for the first time.
That's the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Fun fact to go backtrack a little bit. My son used to call Avatar the movie. He used to say, "Let's play the Blue Monkey movie."
And I get it. I get it. That's funny. I get it.
I just got a flashback of kids.
Supernatural forces intervene to save rage-prone perpetual loser.
I want to say Shazam, but there's a number of movies that could describe that, but I don't think that's the answer. But then again, Billy Batson wasn't, well, I wouldn't say rage prone, but
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's a big explanation for that.
Yeah.
yeah.
The heck? Again, that's the point of the game.
Yeah. High school girl completely changes everything about herself, so guy will like her. 3,
Freaky Friday.
2. Good one, but no. Dirty Dancing.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
What? You've never seen your mother's favorite movie?
And I will never see it either.
It's a really good movie.
I thought her favorite movie would be anything with gutting.
Nope. Dirty Dancing.
Got it.
Just like Sarah. She loves Dirty Dancing, but at the same time, she will watch anything with gutting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have anything else? That's it. That's it on me.
I actually do. So I guess we're gonna end this on a bit of a serious note, because 2 weeks ago our episode got a little heated. We'll say that much. We all know how passionately I disliked the Acolyte, and yeah, right. Who'd have thought, right? It's news to you guys, apparently.
First I hear about it.
Well, if you hadn't already figured it out, I don't like the Acolyte too much, but that's not entirely the point of this little thing here. So over the course of the last couple of months, we, and by we I mean me, because I'm taking the L on this one. When we started this podcast, and when we started this community, it was one of the big things that we said that we would never get into was politics, because politics is one of the biggest dividing topics in any kind of thing, and especially nerd culture. And so we started this as a way for people to come together and as an escape from reality, as it were.
Right.
And so over the course of the last couple of months, like I said, we, or me, have been treading kind of dangerously close to going over that line. And it came to a head 2 weeks ago, where I feel like in our discussion of the Acolyte and the state of Star Wars, and that I clearly stepped over that line. And it never should have happened. And so to you guys, to our community, to our overarching crew with the Creators Club, and that, the people that support us, I'm going to apologize right now, because honestly, it never should have happened, and it never should have even gotten to that point. And this is going to go behind the scenes a little bit, because when we went off air after and this is for the viewers. When we got off air after that episode, Lola actually called that out. And I know she didn't explicitly say to me, but I know that was targeted as me. And you were absolutely right in doing that. So, like, if nothing else, thank you for doing that, because you were completely justified in that. So thank you for that. And honestly, you made a really good point. And it's getting close to the like you said, just not being fun anymore. And we don't want that happening, because then at that point, there's just no point in continuing this.
Right.
And so I definitely want this to be fun. It's not to say that I'm not going to say that I don't like something in particular, but dragging something into this that doesn't really have a place in our little corner of the internet, as it were, that has to stop. And that is going to be something that I am just going to steer myself away from. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys and for the audience and whatnot, that like, that's literally not what we are. It's not what we do. And so, yeah.
Well, we appreciate the apology. We understand where you were coming from also. But you're completely right. We want to make this as fun as possible. We want to laugh. We want to bring our community together. I see our podcast like what Disney does in the theme parks. If you notice that there's no TVs in the theme parks, it's because they want to take you away from reality. They don't want you to they don't want you to watch news or anything like that. They want you to be completely away from that and be immersed into their world. And that's what we want to do also. We want you to, like, I know life is hard, but when you join us, is to like just laugh and forget about everything else for at least an hour and a half and just move on.
An escape from the everyday drudgery and trials and tribulations of real life, because it is hard enough out there as it is. And to be honest, you don't need yet another publication or what have you bringing that into entertainment, as it were.
Right.
There's enough of that as it is. And that's another thing that always threw me, is like the entertainers who use their audience or influence their audience by taking a side. And it's just like, why do that?
Right.
As a result of that conversation last week, I've been on a bit of a blocking spree on like social media and whatnot. Like, I have blocked a lot of the like overtly political like actors and creators, influencers, whatnot, that bring that negativity and bullshit into their communities, because it really, for me, just kind of takes away from what the point of all this is. And it is basically to entertain and to take you out of that reality, even if it's just for however long it is, 5 minutes, an hour and a half, or what have you.
Right.
It's why we're here.
Correct.
Agreed. Let's have fun, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
Take a breather.
Back to basics, as
Yes.
you told us last week or 2 weeks ago. So,
which is what we always preach that Disney does, and we just need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we are developing the production of the show doesn't mean that we have to steer away from what we normally do.
Mhm.
With that being said, just to put a little joke on just the manner, the only thing missing was PB&J while you're making that apology. For those that don't understand that, it's so Remy from Remy's Roundtable,
Oh.
and then he did a 9/11 episode, and he went on to a segment of playing messages
Oh my
and videos and footage from 9/11 without any warning. No trigger warning at all. The next episode, he goes on to give an apology about it. As he's talking, he's literally just eating a PB&J.
Oh my god.
God.
He's like, so yeah, guys, I'm so sorry about what happened last episode. And then but yeah, it was bad. And every time someone apologizes on one of the shows from our group, someone's like, hey, where's your PB&J?
Oh my god. I heard about that. And again, this will go behind the scenes a little bit. I actually heard about that while we were in between games when we were playing Among Us this past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's been a
What?
year almost.
and it's weird though, because I didn't actually hear about that until that night. Like that night when we played Among Us, I'm like, where did this come from? And then you added a bit more context to it.
Yeah, I heard it the week of the apology because everyone was just talking about it. I'm like, what?
jeez.
So I went back to his Twitch and I'm like, okay, maybe he edited it out and no, it's still on there though.
Jesus Christ.
The apology was there, but it wasn't edited. So it was, I just thought it was funny. Just putting a line in mood after that, after your apology.
Well, yeah.
Do you guys have anything else?
It's all
All good
good.
here.
It's all good. We're
All right.
gonna get back to basics and we're gonna make the Nerd Archive great again.
This motherfucker. With that note, thank you guys for joining us. I'm not yelling. I'm Puerto Rican. So thank you for joining us. What?
Love that shirt.
I know. Thank you. I got the back when I went to Puerto Rico. Focus. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us this week. This was the Nerd Archive podcast. We'll see you next week.
Click all the things. Bye.
Bye.
See you
I
soon.
was waiting for it.